Fallen Angels with a Z. Why? Because it pisses you off. Every time I do this, every time I, add a Z, there's always somebody on Twitter who just gets violently angry. And so I enjoy that. Every year I make sure there's at least one, just so that one guy can be angry for the rest of his life. So Fallen Angels is, well, it's hard to describe. I'm just going to show it to you. It's these skeletal guys that are bejeweled. There's all these jewels all over them. So they're like these ornamented skulls, and they all have these kind of like, almost like biker jacket, angel wings embroidered on the back of their costume. But each one of them is different, and I'm only showing you a couple of them. There's a whole bunch of these guys. Of course, they're all armed with chainsaws.
Yes.
And just to give you an example of the amount of work that has to go into what our makeup artists are doing right now, is like after you sculpt the skull and you make the skull, they have to, apply all of these jewels to every one of them. I just brought one. That's just one, and there's a whole bunch of them. So it's just a kind of a totally different look than anything we've done before. Probably the zone, one of the ones I'm most excited for is called Spirits and Demons of the East. We've talked about this for years, and a lot of times people on Twitter, make suggestions, and they say like, you should do something with Asian myths or ghosts or demons. And we've thought about it, we've just never done it before. So this year we decided this is going to be the year we actually do this, because there's a wealth of amazing characters, incredible creatures and designs, and we wanted to bring all that to life. So this is kind of the big hub part of the upper deck of the theme park. We call it our New York set area. It's right in front of Universal Plaza. And I'll just show you some of the character designs. These are very costume heavy. So, we have all these costume designers that have to build every single costume that we think of. They have to, go by the art and figure out the pattern and figure out, how they're going to make it. This is just our Chinese and Mongolian ghost characters. I thought it'd be interesting just to show you, this is like the costumes in progress. So this is the different costumes they're making for this zone. I love this guy, the Samurai Demon. So this is what his makeup sculpt looks like. So all of this is really heavily stylized. It's all trying to be authentic to the look of these characters. Another one I like very much is the Dragon Demon character. So then we gave this to Pat McGee and his talented team of makeup artists, and then, one night at midnight or something, my phone lights up and I get this. So these are pretty amazing. They're all kind of like works of art. Here's another thing we've always wanted to do. Always wanted to do this. We've been talking about this for years. We have a lot of stilt walkers that work on our event, and they're, I love stilt walkers. If you put me on those things, I would be dead in 5 minutes. There's no way I could do what they do. They do pirouettes in the street, they jump, and every year I just keep adding more and more, because I just love the impact that they have in the event. For years, our stilt walker captain has been coming up to me, and Scott Kleckner, who's in charge of training all of our characters with me. Kleckner! Oh, Scott has his fan club here today. And Scott, every year Scott's like, let's do four-legged stilts. And we just have never done it before. And this is the year we're doing it. And I haven't told anybody this, so this is all new information. This is a special character we designed for four-legged stilts. So we put them on some of our really, really good stilt guys, and they sent me a video, and I think I was in Ireland at the time, and I got this video and I watched it, and I'm like, we must have this. So this is his sculpt. He's actually looking up the mouth. That's how his vision is. And this is what Pat and his team is doing right now. And then Holidays in Hell actually ends in a scare zone. It's in the upper deck of our theme park. It's a part of our lot we call French Street. And did you guys go to Universal Monsters last year? So So we had that scare zone that was Monster Masquerade that ended the maze, and I just loved the fact that the maze went right into the scare zone. So we created a new scare zone this year that's called Christmas in Hell, and the maze ends with Christmas. Christmas is the last thing that you see in the maze, and then it bleeds over into the scare zone. So the whole scare zone is Christmas themed. That meant that we got to invent new characters like Satan Claus. I didn't realize this, if you just rearrange the letters Santa, it spells Satan. So this is Satan Claus. So then again, we give it to Pat McGee and his team. And that's what you get back. So the Christmas part of the maze is actually like a Christmas tree lot. It just happens to be Satan Claus's Christmas tree lot. And we kind of themed the whole exit of the maze so it kind of blends organically into French Street, and then it picks up. It allows us to bring back some characters that we've done in the past from like Dark Christmas. Do you guys remember Dark Christmas? Yeah, it was a scare zone we did years ago. It was the first Christmas themed scare zone we did. So some of those evil elf characters, Jack Frost, which is a character, although he's getting a whole new look this year. Mrs. Claus, which we had in Holidays in Hell last year. But also, at the very end of the scare zone, you run into Baby New Year 1929. This is what he looks like. And this is his sculpt in process. And I mentioned, I love still walkers. No. So I wanted to do a nutcracker. I just thought that would be so cool, Just a big, evil nutcracker with big giant teeth. So this is the sculpt. Oh, sorry. Here's his costume. So again, the costume department, Lucas does a drawing, gives a rendering, and then we give that to our costume department, and then they have to build everything, and that's just the costuming process, and then this is the sculpt. Should be fun. I think we should just leave them in the park for Christmas after Halloween. We actually did that. Do you remember? We actually did that one, like, way back. I know I've been there, way too long, but, it might have been, 2006, or right when we were kind of bringing Horror Nights back. We actually did, a scary Christmas zone during regular Christmas. We only did it once, and never did it again after that. It was kind of cool. Well, there you've heard it. So I guess you guys, you can write letters. Another, we're doing Toxic Tunnel with 3 X's this time. It's new because it has 3 X's, not 2 like last year. It's got 3 this time. And people always ask me things like, why are you doing Toxic Tunnel again? I'm like, well, you guys are walking to the back lot, and you're walking through a tunnel. And it's a tunnel. I can't change it, it's a tunnel. What that actually is, that's back a house movie studio. That's part of a big technical building in the shop where they build all of, where they maintain and build the sets for movies and TV shows. That's what you guys are actually walking through, that big tunnel. So this year we decided to go a little bit of a different direction with the characters. They've been, different things down through the years. But I really like the design aesthetic of kind of the hot rod monsters. Kind of Big Daddy Ed Roth, that type of thing. So they're kind of like, monster mechanics, if you will. So this is just Frankie and Drac, But it's all done in that kind of crazy, crazy cartoon, hot rod, aesthetic. And that's kind of the way we're approaching Toxic Tunnel. And then last but not least, we always have a big scare zone, and every year it kind of gets bigger and bigger down in the Metro Set area, which is the backlot part of the movie studio where we build usually 3 mazes. Okay. When I'm jet lagged, I always have to check myself. What mazes have we announced? Let's make sure I don't screw this up. That's where Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is going to be out there. That's where Ghostbusters, you heard about that, I see. Yeah, Ghostbusters. That's what Ghostbusters can be. And by the way, it's good, I can actually tell you all 3. that's where Creepshow is going to be. So Creepshow is on the opposite side of that giant wall that last year would have been like the Horrors of Blumhouse, or a couple of years before that, American Horror Story. That's where Creepshow is going to be. But there, the first thing that happens when you walk across the street and after you've gone through Toxic Tunnel is you get to the Metro Set area. And we always started with a scare zone. Last year it was Holidays in Hell. And this year we created a scare zone that is now called All Hallows Evil. I say now called because a guy who works really closely with me and Chris, and has for years and years and years on Horror Nights, and his specialty is always park decor and the scare zones. He's the guy who actually deserves all of the credit for the scare zones. His name is Pat Quinn. He's probably here somewhere tonight. I don't know if he wants to stand up or not. I can embarrass him. Pat, are you in the audience? Patty! Hi. Where are you? Somebody point to Pat. All right, there he is. There he is. Give it up for Pat Quinn. Chris and I have known Pat, for years and years and years, and Pat just thinks differently than Chris and I, his brain works in ways I can't describe, but in really good ways. But he always has really cool ideas for scare zones and characters and things we wouldn't normally have thought of. He's the one who brought, the idea of doing spirits and demons in the Far East. That was Pat's idea. All of these scare zones are his idea. And then he comes and he pitches them to Chris and I. And the vast majority of the time we just go, that's great, let's do it. So he pitched me a scare zone that he originally titled Samhain, Festival of Darkness. But I'm Irish now. That's not how you pronounce that word. I don't know if you know, Halloween actually originated in Ireland, and it was a harvest festival that Americans call Samhain. And I'm going to mess this up entirely, and every person in Ireland's going to beat me up the minute I got off the plane Monday morning when I fly tomorrow night. But I think it's pronounced Samhain. Samhain, right? Samhain. So I just couldn't do a scare zone called Samhain Festival of Darkness. Samhain Festival of Darkness. So we changed the name to All Hallows Evil, but the idea that Pat came up with is the same. It's to pay homage to all of that great pagan, original Halloween, pagan festival, harvest festival. I'll show you a few characters. The pagan witch, and the druid. And we're weaving in different things. It's not exclusively Irish, it's kind of all of that kind of early mythological stuff. Wendigo Scarecrow, we call him Murderer of Crows. And then this is one Pat really had to sell us on. He's like, I want to do a Green Man. And we were like, what? But when they drew it up, he and working with Lucas drew it up, we were like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I just got this last night and banged it into this deck so I could share it with you. So this is the sculpt in process for the Green Man. And he gets these big, huge horns on his head. And then last but not least, again, stilt walkers. I love stilt walkers. Pat designed a really cool Wendigo stilt walking character. It's like 8 foot tall. And that's the sculpting process. And that's his incredibly large horns on the top of his head. All right. And that's what I have to share with you today for Halloween Horror Nights 2019. All right, I just got the 5-minute warning, which means, my God, I'm on time. I never think about, when I put these things together, I just go, 120 pages, fine. I never even try to time it, and it always works out like this. It's kind of crazy. We're gonna do a giveaway, we're gonna do a trivia giveaway. Before we do that, what I really want to say to everybody that's been supporting this event for, geez, this is my 14th year of doing this. And I just, originally my goal was 10. That was my whole goal. I wanted to get to 10 and that was it. I was going to retire and be done. I keep doing it and I keep traveling 6,000 miles to do it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because of all of you. Because, honestly, we are so lucky. As designers, I know a lot of you guys want to get into this. As someone who started doing this in my parents' garage in 1977, doing a Star Wars unlicensed haunted house, I can't tell you how much it means to Chris and myself and everybody who works on this event. The passion that you fans have for this event is something that none of us could have ever anticipated. It makes us want to do better work, and hopefully we do that for you guys. But most of all, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you guys, I would be, right now I'd probably be dancing with like a marionette puppet on Grafton Street in Ireland for like, somebody to toss me €1, Thank you so much, we really appreciate it. And to show that appreciation, we're gonna do a little ticket giveaway here. A little different this time, we're gonna give 2 tickets to Fan Preview Night. In case you don't know, on Thursday, September 12th, we're doing a special Fan Preview Night. It's very limited, the number of tickets we're gonna sell for that. But you're gonna get to go. And you're also gonna get a Frequent Fear Pass for HHN 2019. And it's a trivia question. And the topic is a maze we announced recently, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Okay, you guys fans of Killer Clowns? Well, again, you guys deserve the credit. If it wasn't for all of you constantly badgering me on Twitter to do Killer Clowns, that's the reason why we're doing it. It's to do it to say, please stop asking me. Here you go, here's the thing. We're doing it because we've heard you year after year after year, and of course Orlando did that fabulous Scare Zone last year, so now both of us are doing Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but this question is going to deal with this guy. His name is not John Verson, John Vernon, who was late. And I said I'm jet lagged. I woke up at 4 in the morning and I couldn't type his name. He played a character named Officer Mooney. You remember him? Yep. Right? Killer Clowns in Outer Space. The way this is going to work is I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to pick one hand, so if you yell out the name, I'm going to tear that up and nobody gets it. Okay? I'm going to pick one person. We'll see if they get this right. So, the question is, John Vernon, the actor who played Officer Mooney in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, also starred as Dean Wormer in this classic 1978 Universal comedy, right there.
Animal House?
Animal House. And you are absolutely right. Come on up. Come on up and grab this. No, well, yeah. Sure, come on up. Selfie time. Congratulations. Thank you very much. I'll be out there somewhere if you want to come by and say hi. I'd be happy to see you guys. Thank you so much for being fans of this event. We greatly appreciate it. We have a lot more in store, so follow us on Twitter. Halloween Horror Nights 2019. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.